Hi everybody, my name is Chloe. If you are new, welcome to my channel. Please hit the subscribe button below and the notification bell. Give me a thumbs up, comment, share, all that fun stuff. Today I have a little bit of an issue. Yesterday was Easter, and the last couple days I have been having a sore shoulder on the right side, and yesterday it was so painful I ended up in the urgent care, and apparently there's some calcium buildup in my shoulder and it's tendonitis, so this is going to be a little bit of a different video. I'm going to try and get through this. So we are on, for those of you that are new, this is my presidential highlights series for all the presidents and the highlights that happened while they were in office. So if this is your first one that you're watching, I encourage you to go back all the way to George Washington and watch each president, or just watch the presidents that you might be interested in to learn what happened during their term in office. So we are working on Franklin Delano Roosevelt. This is part 5, and this one will include the newspaper. So if you can just bear with me with the pain in my shoulder, I might be wincing a little bit because it does kind of hurt. I did take some medication, so we're good. So we are now up to 1941. So we're just going to get into this. So thanks for watching. January 6th, the State of the Union. FDR stresses the need for congressional support to help allies defend the quote-unquote 4 essential freedoms against the Axis powers, which would be speech and expression, worship, from want, and from fear. The 4 freedoms becomes the motto when the U.S. enters the war. Hopefully I can get through 1941 without going over my time, because I only can do things left-handed and I'm a righty, so this really sucks. January 20th, FDR was inaugurated. He was the first and only president to serve more than 2 terms. February 4th, the USO, which stands for United States Organization, which I didn't even know what that meant, formal by 6 national groups. It serves social, educational, welfare, and religious needs to the armed forces. March 11th, FDR signs the Lend-Lease Act. It empowers the president to lend arms and other war material to any country deemed vital to the U.S. interests. The initial appropriation is $7 billion. In September 1946, when the program ends, the U.S. had paid out over $50.6 billion in aid. April 11th, the Office of Price Administration, or the OPA, or OPA, established to control and stabilize prices during wartime. May 27th, Roosevelt issues a proclamation following the German victories in Greece and Yugoslavia. He declares unlimited national emergency 6 weeks after the sinking of a merchant ship, Robin Moore, by the German U-boat off the coast of Brazil. June 16th, FDR orders German consulates close Germany and FDR closes German consulate. Try this again. June 16th, FDR orders German consulates to close. Germany and Italy respond by closing the U.S. consulates in their countries. June 22nd, Germany breaks the pact. So the Nazi-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact of 1939, they broke that, and they invade the USSR. Now what I find interesting here is that 2 days later, FDR promises aid to the Soviet Union. Now, for those of you that may be too young to remember or too young to know, the Soviet Union used to be communist, and they used to be our enemies. So I found it interesting that we were going to help them by giving them aid against Germany, even though we were kind of at odds with one another, the U.S. and the Soviet Union. June 25th, FDR establishes the Fair Employment and Practice Committee, or the FEPC. It prevents discrimination due to race, creed, or color in hiring and treatment practices in the defense industry. June 28th, FDR establishes the Office of Scientific Research and Development. I don't know why they have these offices that have such long names to them, but whatever. OSRD, with Vannevar Bush as the chairman. It coordinates development of defense-related technologies such as radar, sonar, and early atomic research. July 26th, FDR nationalizes the armed forces. In the Philippines, General Douglas MacArthur was the commander-in-chief of all U.S. forces in the Far East. One day earlier, FDR freezes all Japanese assets and halts all trade. Now remember that, because that's going to come into play by the end of 1941. August 14th, 3 days of secret meetings. The U.S. and British warships it happens on the U.S. and British warships off the east coast, or off the coast of Newfoundland. FDR and Churchill issue an Atlantic Charter, and it sets forth 8 goals for the world. September 24th of that year, this is all under August 14th, 15 other countries, including the USSR, endorsed the maxims. September 11th, which, now remember we're in 1941, so that's 60 years before the U.S. was attacked in 2001. FDR issues an order. After several attacks on U.S. ships, U.S. Navy planes are to shoot on sight any Axis ships found operating in the U.S. defensive waters. I know I probably look like crap, and I really don't care. My arm hurts. Okay, September 20th, FDR signs the largest bill. It's a tax bill as a Revenue Act of 1941. Excuse me. It provides sharply increased taxes and collects more than $3 billion for defense. October 27th, the U.S. destroyer Kearney. The German U-boat torpedoes it. 10 days later, FDR states, quote-unquote, "America has been attacked. The shooting has started." 3 days after that, another attack on a destroyer, Reuben James, and 100 were killed. Now remember, America was still not in the war at this point. November 17th, Japan's ambassador. With the U.S., they begin negotiations with the State Department in Washington, D.C. They propose the U.S. remove the trade restrictions on Japan and don't get involved with Japan's activities in China. November 26th, which this is all under November 17th, the Secretary of State Cordell Hull rejects the proposals. Japan needs to leave China and Indochina for the trade to reopen. December 7th, Pearl Harbor. So this is where the newspaper comes in. War. Oahu bombed by Japanese planes. So let me see if I can open this up. I have to do everything one-handed. This is a copy of the actual newspaper. So it says 6 known dead, 21 injured at emergency hospital. And the reason I know that this is a copy is because on the back, even though it does have like pictures from the day, on the bottom in the middle, I don't know if you can see that, but the caption on that reads, Japanese surrender September 2nd, 1945. So that's how I know that this newspaper isn't an original, and it would probably be in a lot worse shape than this because it's not protected. But that is the next newspaper that talks about the bombing of Pearl Harbor. So, Japan attacks Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. 2,400 soldiers, sailors, and civilians are killed, and 1,200 are wounded. 8 battleships and 150 planes are lost. Japan declares war on the U.S. The next day, FDR's "A Date That Will Live in Infamy" speech is given, and he declares war on Japan. December 10th, Japan invades the Philippines. They land at Luzon. Now, if I remember correctly, I know I haven't made this video for a while, but I thought we were kind of allies with the Philippines at the beginning of the war, and now, well, this is Japan invading the Philippines. Never mind. I'll talk about that when I get to the other part. Sorry, got sidetracked. December 11th, Germany and Italy declare war on the U.S. and Congress concurs. December 15th, the no strike policy. Executive Council of the American Federation of Labor for the duration of the war. So there can be no strikes at that point. Okay. December 17th, Admiral Chester Nimitz, which I believe the largest aircraft carrier that is in the U.S. that's still in operation today, was named after him. He was given command of the Pacific Fleet, replacing Admiral Husband Kimmel. I wonder if he's related to Jimmy. Kimmel was found derelict and thwarted the attack of Pearl Harbor. December 19th, the Office of Censorship. It was established to control all matters involving information deemed vital to the war. Now, if you've watched the movie Pearl Harbor, I believe that is what was in place when the nurse went in to find out about the two guys that she had been dating. I think that's what that's all about, the Office of Censorship. If you haven't seen it, you should really go watch the movie. It's really good. December 20th, the Office of Price Administration. It announces rubber rationing beginning on New Year's Day. The sale of new cars and trucks were banned temporarily. December 23rd, Japan takes Wake Island. It was an American territory in the Pacific. 2 days later, the British colony Hong Kong falls to the Japanese. So that's the end of 1941. 1942 had quite a bit of stuff in it, so I'm just going to make part 5 just for 1941. So the next video will start 1942. Hopefully I'll be out of this sling by then. But I was going to say something about this. Oh, I had no idea that Hong Kong was a British colony. I don't know if it still is. I didn't do that much research. But in any case, at that point, it had fallen to the Japanese. So on Christmas Day, apparently, because that was December 23rd, and it said 2 days later, so Christmas Day. So, so that was all. That all happened in 1941. Now we are part of the war. And again, if you want to see the newspaper, I can only hold it up with one hand, so I'm sorry. But this is a newspaper that I bought from a guy at a flea market, which I thought was really cool. And you can see it's from the Honolulu Star Bulletin on Sunday, December 7th. And the price was 5 cents for that paper. Look how far we've come now, and we can get our news on our phones nowadays, so for free. So anyway, thank you for joining me today for the FDR Part 5, 1941, when we, at the end of the year, we ended up becoming a part of the war. And of course they made a movie about it, so if you haven't seen it, it's called Pearl Harbor. It stars, what is his name? He dated J-Lo for a while. Ben Affleck was in that movie. And Alec Baldwin was in the movie. And Cuba Gooding Jr. was in the movie. So it's really a good movie. So you should really watch it. And if you haven't watched it in a while, go ahead and watch it again. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I need to go take a Tylenol or something at this point because my arm is really starting to hurt. So, hope you guys are having a great day, evening, afternoon, whatever time you're watching this, and we will see you guys on the next one. You guys have a sunnier day than I'm having, and I will try to keep you updated as to what's going on with my arm. Hopefully it won't take too long to heal. So, see you guys on the next one. Have a sunny day.